Okay, so let's start by taking a look at the weekly chart of Deere. On the bottom here, we have a 23-week cycle bracket with a weekly cycle timing window that's coming up between April 15th and May 24th. Now let's look at what happened in this last completed cycle. We got a move up out of the cycle low, that low being confirmed by the turn to positive momentum with our proprietary reversal scout. That's this green and purple ribbon. So Deere got back up to this area of prior cycle peak, some really strong resistance there. You can see that it's rejected from that level multiple times, right around $450. So strong resistance there. Then we got this bearish engulfing candlestick on earnings, and the reversal scout turned negative. So that helped us to confirm that the cycle peak was in place, and Deere declined through all the supports, including the 78.6% fib, almost back down to this cycle low support. So the depth of that decline suggested probabilistically that Deere would not be able to make a new high in the next cycle, which is the cycle that we're now in. And you can see that that has played out with Deere rising out of this cycle low up into this resistance zone that was created using the prior cycle high and cycle low. Then momentum turned negative, and we have given up the whole move. Last week, Deere dipped briefly below the cycle low support, and now trying to get a bit of a mid-cycle bounce. However, based on this pattern and the negative momentum conditions, we would expect rallies to fail, and we have an initial projection down to about the 61.8% extension. That's around 348.25 out in that weekly cycle timing window. So now if we switch over to the daily chart, I will zoom in a little bit. On here, we have a 44 bar cycle, and we are just moving up out of that daily cycle timing window. So this current cycle is due to end in mid-April, excuse me, which is inside the weekly cycle timing window. Therefore, this cycle is in sync, and you'll see that noted in the in sync box of the cycle low timing tracker. So what that means is that this cycle will be expected to exhibit weakness, possibly even breakdowns, as we form those intermediate and short-term lows. So this prior cycle here was basically flat, ending right where it started. And based on that, we created a resistance zone using that prior cycle high and that cycle low. And that resistance zone is here, and it runs from about 373.50 on the bottom to about 386 on the top with a 78.6% fib. It's not drawn in here, but it is at about 395. So we would expect Deere to try to rally up into this zone and then for that rally to fail and move back down. Again, our initial target is this area between the cycle low support at about 353 down to the 61.8% extension off the weekly chart, 348.25, possibly lower. Please do note that Caterpillar, which has a much stronger pattern, is also due to trough right around this same mid-April timeframe. Now, in terms of askSlim tools that I use to identify this trade idea, first, as I mentioned, the in sync box on the cycle low timing tracker. Second, the Slimulator ranking system, which shows a directional bias in Deere of very bearish. Third, the Slimulator momentum tracker, which also shows a directional bias of very bearish. Fourth, if I switch over to the area chart, we have the OBI down here, the option bias indicator sitting at N3, suggesting a bearish bias. And fourth, the market condition indicator, that is this down here, it is sitting at negative 71 today. So if you'd like to learn more about these tools, please become an askSlim member. Now, in terms of option strategies that you could employ to take advantage of this bearish hypothesis, I would suggest long premium strategies since Deere has low implied volatility right now, and those benefit from a pop in implied volatility. So you could do something like a long put or put spread, put zebra if you have enough capital, even a put butterfly. About an hour ago, I published an options trade idea for this analysis for our members, which was a put diagonal spread. So if you would like to see that video, you can also consider becoming a level 3 or 4 member.